All right. Everybody listening and watching, wherever you are listening and watching from, we have our 1-3 projector friend and manifestation expert, Tara Brunet, with us today. And she's going to share a bunch of fun stuff about neuroscience and manifestation. And this is one thing I love about moving into the future and combining science with what we would look at as more woo-woo things, and in the past have been seen as very unscientific and very, airy-fairy kind of things like manifestation. They're really not, and there is science behind how this works for us. And Tara's going to tell us all about it. So I'm so excited.
Yay. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm very excited to dive into this with you guys today because exactly like Ariana said, like manifestation can be seen as like, oh, it's just woo woo spiritual, but there is a real science behind it. I'm going to break that down for you today, particularly within the brain. Um, at the very least, by following these practices that I'm going to share and like aligning your brain and body with what it is that you want, you're going to be increasing your chances of bringing something into your reality by like bare minimum 500%. And that's like a real percentage from the research that I've done of combining the different practices of embedding your subconscious mind, of getting very intentional, of bringing your awareness, of calming your nervous system. Like there's so many things that we can do to up our chances of hitting our goals, period. And like, I have manifested so many incredible things into my life. And through these practices, like, I just know that it's so real. And when you understand the science behind what's going on, when you set an intention, it can be so much easier to like get your belief behind it. And the more belief you have, the more you're going to see results. So manifestation at its core is the process of turning intentions into reality by harnessing the power of your mind, particularly your subconscious mind. So I want to kind of take you through like from start to finish of setting an intention and how that's working and what's going on within your brain when you do it. So first things first, you set an intention. And this means you're bringing like focus and clarity towards what you want. And this seems obvious, but you'd be surprised like how many people I work with who are just very unsure about what they want. They're not committed to it. They're like, oh, I want this, but it's not possible for me. So they're not really going for it. It's like they're just very foggy. And like that's a big thing that I see that always like actually surprises me because I'm like, I know exactly what I want. Like exactly. So
Because
I'm
you're an
very,
Aries.
yeah,
You're just an Aries living in a Libra world of people who don't believe in themselves.
I know. I'm like, how do you not know what you want? Like, come on. So this is the most important aspect of the process because you can't move forward. Like it's like Monopoly, like you cannot pass go, you can't get on the board until you know what you want. And obviously you can go a little bit more general, like this can really relate to human design in a lot of different ways, or you can go super specific, but you need to at least know what am I moving towards.
Yeah. Sorry,
So
before you move on, Tara, so I just want to say Tara and I both are non-specific manifestors, by the way. So everything she's saying, if you're a non-specific manifestor like us, it still applies to you. It's just getting down to that granular, way of looking at what you want to manifest. It's just not something that comes to us as naturally. So if you do know and you do have the specifics, that's fantastic. But a lot of the time we're forcing ourselves to do that and it's a story. So I just wanted to say that really quick. Like this still applies to you. Just, yeah, you just go more general.
yeah, and like an example of that, like I very intentionally manifested my husband, but I wasn't like he's 6'5", like blue eyes, like in finance or whatever that
Yeah.
song is. I really got clear on like I feel the number one thing I wanted to feel was certainty because I had been so confused in my past relationships. I was like, how do you know if it's the one? Like I just want to feel certain. And so that was like as specific as I got. Like I want to feel certain. I obviously want to feel like loved, but that it was really this overall feeling of like I'm certain that he's my soulmate. And like the story, how that unfolds is we met and within 24 hours we said, I love you. And within 12 days he proposed and within 3 months we were married. So there was very much a huge level of certainty. So you don't have to get super specific on, who the person is or whatever, but just get specific on how you want to feel if you're a non-specific manifestor. So once you know exactly what you want, you begin the process of neuroplasticity, which is the process of changing your brain. So we're forming new neural connections and pathways. We're literally rewiring your brain to support that goal. because the crux of like manifestation in neuroscience is you want to cultivate the thoughts, the beliefs, and the like neural connections that support and align with your goal, such as, making money is easy, people love to pay me, I'm highly regarded in my field, like sales come easily to me, versus the ones that don't support you, that you may have been raised on because your subconscious mind was ultimately, like, the majority of it was created from ages of 0 to 7. So most of your beliefs are not even yours. They're your parents, they're your grandparents, they're the kids on the playground, they're your teachers, whatever you were raised around, there from TV, like, that's where you got your belief system from. So you're operating under programming that isn't even yours, or probably even supportive of what it is that you want. So you might be thinking, making money so hard, or I have to work extremely hard to make money. Like that, I developed that one from my dad. Nobody wants what I'm offering. Nobody cares about what I have to say. Like sales is so confusing and hard, or money is hard for me. And those are obviously not serving you. So when you repeatedly focus on an intention, this is going to begin rewiring the neural circuits to support that goal. So when you are like repeating a new thought, like an affirmation or a visualization, this is strengthening the synaptic connections in your brain, and the unused ones, so the old beliefs, are going to weaken. And this is called synaptic pruning. So your brain will literally prune away the thoughts that you aren't using. So a real life example of that is I spent 17 years with a very strong eating disorder. I was bulimic, I was a binge eater. I hated my body. I felt super uncomfortable, like really struggled on every aspect of my body. And when I discovered the manifestation work, I started changing my thoughts, shifting my focus. I had an affirmation that was like, I'm perfectly imperfect, which seems very insignificant. But what it did was allow me to focus on a new thought instead of, I hate my body, I'm fat, I need to binge eat, or whatever it is. It would be like, I'm perfectly imperfect. It's okay where I am right now. Like, it just brought me a sense of peace and acceptance. And slowly but surely, that led to new neural connections, new ways of seeing my body. And like, the long story short is that I lost 40 pounds, completely healed from my eating disorder. Like, everything changed in terms of my body, and I've lived in my dream body ever since. And obviously there's a lot more to that story, but just to show the power of, like, I never think anymore I'm fat, or I hate that would not even cross my mind, and not because my body changed. My body changed. First, I stopped thinking those thoughts, and then my body changed, right? So when you're operating under those unhelpful beliefs, you are unconsciously going to perpetuate that reality, because your brain is wired to like keep everything in alignment with its beliefs. It's made to drive behavior, notice opportunities in alignment with its beliefs. And this is why I tattooed on my arm, become what you believe, because your beliefs are truly shaping your reality. So if you believe that making money is a very hard, you literally won't even see the money making opportunities. It will not be brought to your conscious awareness, period. And I have like a really funny example of this. When I was in the midst of like postpartum, I was really stressed out about my breast pump. It wasn't working. And if you're a new mom, like, this is an essential piece that you need. And I was on Amazon like searching for this part, and I was like, this part, like, just I can't find it. Like, I literally, my brain could not see it. And it was actually like right in front of my eyes, but my eyes could not, your eyes cannot see like what you're not believing. And I took 24 hours to like calm myself. And the next day I opened the exact same browser. Like, I didn't close it or anything. And there it was, staring me right in the face, like the piece that I needed. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how could I not even see that? And it was such a good example of like, when you're in fight or flight stress response, like, like this isn't working, you cannot see the solution, even if it's staring you right in the face.
That's
Um,
so powerful. Wait, sorry, that reminds me of like one of my favorite Abraham Hicks stories, which is like Esther was looking for this paper and she just couldn't find it anywhere. And she was like, ah, I'm just gonna go to lunch. And she left and she just stopped thinking about it. So she stopped paying attention to those thoughts that said the paper isn't here. She comes
yeah.
back and she was like, it was literally like I just saw it. It just appeared on my desk. Probably a little goblin didn't take it and then put it back. So she just didn't see it.
Yeah, it's actually so crazy. Like, your um visual like perception is obviously developed like from your brain. Like, we all see colors differently. We could be sitting in the same exact location and be seeing it completely differently based off like how our brain is processing it, how our subconscious mind is. So And this comes down to the reticular activating system. So that is, the gatekeeper. You'll often hear about this between your subconscious and conscious mind. So you may have heard the stat that your brain is processing 11 million bits of information approximately per second subconsciously, where your conscious mind can only process like up to 40. So 99.99% of everything that goes on is subconscious. So if you don't change your subconscious mind, you've got about like a 0.01% chance of really seeing like any form of success, because you literally will not even physically see it or receive the information you need consciously. So if you can think of it as like whatever it is that you want, and this is a fact, there is a path, there are many paths that will take you straight to it. But if you're not programming your subconscious mind towards this desire, you literally won't see the paths. Like your brain will skip right over them. But when your subconscious mind is primed towards a goal, you're going to see the relevant opportunities, ideas that you would otherwise not have had. And this is so important for business owners, because we often think like, oh my God, like this isn't working, or I'm doing all the things or whatever, but you're actually like not seeing the way forward that could lead you to the success that you want, because you're so stuck in the story of like, this isn't working, this isn't working. So when we, set that strong intention and embed it in our subconscious mind, you literally open up like your scope of vision by like 99%. So it's very powerful. And you just don't even like, you don't know what you don't know. You don't see what you don't see. Like you might think you've tried everything, but like there is a perfect path towards your desire that you just literally can't even realize. And like that kind of comes back to, and then there's a little bit of like magic I find, like when I was manifesting my soulmate, I all of a sudden got pulled to travel across Canada to Ontario, and I live in BC on the West Coast, and that's to visit my best friend, who's her roommate was my future husband. And it's like, how could I have ever known that? Like, I don't know. I saw him on an Instagram story once. Maybe my subconscious like knew that was my future husband and was like, you need to go there. Like who could have known? It's just so crazy. So regardless, you have to open up that subconscious mind towards your desire. So once you set the intention, this is the first step in like activating the power of your brain in order to bring this goal to fruition. There are a few steps like what that you kind of follow that with. So first, you want to get very clear on the beliefs that aren't serving you. So your limiting beliefs that we want to like prune away. And then what beliefs you would believe if this came easily to you. So, for example, with my body, it was like, before I was like, oh my God, like I can't be controlled around food. Like I can't stop myself. Like I'm always going to be out of control, whatever. And then the new beliefs that I started programming in, one in particular was I'm indifferent to food. And like, when I tell you like how crazy it is that is now my reality, when I was obsessed with food 24/7, like could not have ice cream in the freezer without thinking about when I could eat the ice cream. And now I just like, I'm so annoyed that I even have to eat in a day, because I'm just like, I've got better things to do. It's so like your brain is so powerful, like especially when it comes to body, but in every single area. So you want to kind of get clear on those and start embedding your subconscious mind and your belief system. So in order to find the limiting beliefs that you have, this comes down to noticing the buts. When you think about your goals, you're like, I really want to lose weight, but like I can't control myself around food. I'm a binge eater. I've always been bigger. Like I'm big boned, whatever beliefs, whatever stupid beliefs you have around your body. You want to start pruning these away. And my favorite method of pruning that is like very neuroscience backed is tapping. So when you tap on specific acupressure points, which are associated with the meridian system in like the TCM Chinese medicine, you send calming signals to the amygdala in your brain, which is the fear center of the brain. And this is going to reduce your fight or flight response and lower your cortisol levels and your stress hormones, because you cannot reprogram your brain when you're in fight or flight. You actually can't really do anything when you're in fight or flight. You're kind of fucked. So I was just talking about this with Ariana right before we came on. Like, it's so important to be able to regulate your nervous system. And when your brain and body feels safe and calm, it is then open to suggestion and change. So if you're like activated and in fear, oh my God, I don't have any money. I'm stressed. My credit card bill is really high. You like can't really change your circumstances. You can't logically see. And I was telling Ariana right before we came on here, like my husband's been struggling with PTSD, and it's so interesting to watch how his logical brain just completely shuts off. Like he is dealing with some tinnitus, but all of a sudden when he gets activated in fight or flight, he's like, I'm going to be disabled for the rest of my life. Like I can't live like this. Like I'm a horrible father. I'm a horrible husband. And he just spirals. And it's like, oh my God, like come back to this moment. Like it's just a little bit of ringing in one ear. Like you're okay. Like it's okay. You can still function kind of thing. But when you go into fight or flight, you can't think clearly. That's a bit of a tangent. But anyway.
It's not at all. And I
Okay.
relate to that. And I think a lot of people relate to that. Yeah, that's so incredible. And actually, before we move on, I kind of wanted to say this before, but everything you were saying about the reticular formation and how that affects the opportunities that you can see, this actually applies to human design and using that for success as well, because with human design, it's like your body and soul, they already are drawing you towards what you need to do. But if you are so deep in these beliefs that that can't work, that's not the way that life works, things don't work out for people who are built like me. Like I'm a projector. How am I supposed to see success when I wait to be recognized? I've been waiting my whole life. I'm never recognized. I have to work harder than everybody else. So I'm not calling you out, Tara. I'm just saying that because
Like,
this is one of the hardest,
yeah,
one of the
that's fine.
hardest energy types I think for people to be like, because the projectors are built so differently, right? But when you do that, you shut off all these ways that it could work for you. And so even if your body is giving you is pulling you towards something, wow, as a projector, I'd really love to learn more about X, Y, and Z. And then that's preparing you for the next invitation. You would go, that's stupid. That won't get me anywhere. I shouldn't do that. That's not smart. Or you wouldn't even see it, right? And so, and that's why I made those meditations for like getting into your signature and releasing those limiting beliefs, you know, and those affirmations of like, I am always recognized. I always have opportunities to be recognized. I draw lots of people to me who want to give me invitations because it's doing exactly what Tara said. It's setting you up for that kind of thing. Sorry, we're I should have said that a little bit earlier. But yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. And then the tapping, like even tapping helps with human design. Like that's so cool. It all works together, right? So
Yeah.
everything you're saying, it's just yeah, it's so wildly helpful and true.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. And when I discovered human design, it was such a, as a projector, especially, it gave me this like permission slip of like, I don't have to like kill myself to see success. And then that opened up, you know, my scope of being able to see different opportunities and put myself into a calmer state instead of like work, 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 which then obviously allowed me to achieve more success.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, when you're tapping, you are um basically like the long and short of it, I won't go into a whole neuroscience lesson on tapping, but you're basically deleting the limiting beliefs. And then you're creating this state in your brain where it's very open and suggestible to new beliefs. In fact, they're like, oh, we need a new belief because you just kind of like eliminated this one and it doesn't feel as real anymore. So it's like primed and ready to accept a new belief. So in a tapping session, you would tap on, and it sometimes it feels weird because you're like, why am I saying so many negative things? But you say, you like get out all the negative things until they begin to feel neutral. So you could say something like, if you opened your credit card and you were really stressed about it, you'd be like, oh my God, even though I'm really stressed about my credit card, you know, I love, accept, and forgive myself. And you would keep going, tapping through the points. Oh my God, I have no money, whatever it is that's coming up until you can say it. And it's kind of like, like that's there, but it's not activating you. And that's when you move on to like, I'm open and ready to see things differently. I'm willing to allow more money and see the opportunities for money and all those things. And that you're basically opening back up that scope of vision so you can see the path forward towards more money. Otherwise, you're like pigeonholing yourself in panic and fear, and you cannot see a way out. Um, and yeah, it's just so interesting as I was seeing it with Trev, like, holy, like he just really can't see like any other path except this one horrible path. And I'm like, there's a lot of different paths. Like it's just as likely that this goes away that you're disabled for the rest of your life, you know? But when you're in fight or flight, you just can't think logically. So tapping also activates bilateral stimulation. So it's like activating both sides of the brain. So it allows you to process the old emotional patterns, and it like lets go of the limiting belief, and then it creates space for the new programming. It's also calming your nervous system, allowing you to like break that sensation of discomfort. So all in all, like tapping is just a very powerful way to begin to to program your subconscious mind and allow your subconscious mind and your nervous system start working together. Because the main thing you want to remember with programming your subconscious mind is you need to be in like a calm state. So there's obviously lots of different ways we can do that. So the other most powerful way is through getting into that like theta relaxed state. So hypnosis is very powerful. Deep meditation, listening to affirmations as you're falling asleep is a big one that I do a lot. Just being able to deeply relax when you're in that state, that kind of like half awake, half asleep is when your conscious mind is like turned off and like things are kind of going straight into the subconscious mind. So that's why hypnosis is very powerful. Basically, what's going on within your brain is that it operates at different frequencies depending on our state of consciousness. So our brainwave states are beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. And these all correlate with like alertness, relaxation, and like the depth of subconscious access that you can get into. So alpha is like the gateway to your subconscious mind, where you can like visualize more vividly, your imagination can kind of take over, your mind is more open to suggestion. And then if you go a little bit deeper into like deep relaxation, drowsiness, hypnosis, the early stages of sleep, that is like the realm of the subconscious. So hypnotherapists have found, and studies have found, that when you're in that state, that theta medium trance state, you're highly receptive to positive suggestions or mental programming. So we can really use that to our advantage with binaural beats, with hypnosis tracks. That's something I use a lot. So ideally, what you want to do is utilize the alpha, theta brainwave. So right when you wake up, or as you're falling asleep, or I like to do like a midday nap because I'm a projector, and listen to a hypnosis at least once a day to program your mind towards what you want, with affirmations, hypnosis, visualization, kind of any of those. And the subconscious responds really well to emotion. So the more you can like feel an emotion of like gratitude or appreciation or joy or like excitement, the more you're going to impress that on the subconscious mind. And that's why, affirmations can work for you or against you. Because if you're repeating an affirmation, but you're feeling like, oh, that's not true for me, oh my God, who do you think you are? You're actually programming the opposite of what you want. But if you can say an affirmation and feel like excited and open and like, oh, yay, that is also powerfully reprogramming the subconscious mind. So it could be the same affirmation, but you really got to notice, what is my body's response to this? Which is why, when I was programming for my dream body, I wasn't like, I'm lean toned and tiny, because I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm fat, I hate myself. And that's what I would be programming. But over time, once I really developed a feeling of common safety, I could actually use that affirmation, I'm lean toned and tiny, and it did eventually become true. But you have to really notice what's going on in my body when I say that, because that is showing if that's in congruence with your subconscious mind, or incongruent, which means it's going to be like, no, that's not true, I'm not taking that on, kind of thing. And the brain, doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So I always think about this, like, if you've done something 100 times before, it's very easy for you to do it again, right? Like, doing something for the first time is always going to feel a little bit like, can I do this? Like, this feels really unsafe. So if you visualize repeatedly, a good example of this for me was giving birth. Like, I really wanted to have a home birth. I was like, no drugs, like I'm a hippie, like I just want a whole natural birth. And so I visualized it so many times. It was literally as if I'd already done it many times, and I had my perfect ideal birth, like at home, no pain. Like, it was intense, but I wasn't like screaming in pain or anything. And I totally programmed my subconscious mind for that. I used affirmations, I used hypnosis, and I used visualization very consistently leading up to the birth. And I just like listened to that backtrack that I had programmed my brain towards relaxation. It was like this piano backtrack, and I just played it on repeat for the entire 6 hours, because it like put my body into this calm state, because I'd already trained it to do that. It wasn't like, you can't just like go into a stressful situation and try to access calm. You have to train your brain and body to be calm, and then you can, like, who is that?
Anybody who's not watching but only listening, a workman just walked by in the window, and both Tara and I just stared at him.
I thought at first it was Trevor, but anyway, it's a random electrician. So where was I going with that? Okay, yeah. So this kind of leads me into the next point, which is safety. So your brain is wired to keep you safe, and anything unfamiliar it equals this is not safe and we don't want it, even if it's something you really, really want. So money could feel unsafe to you, love could feel very unsafe to you, weight loss could feel very unsafe to you, and you don't even really realize it because it's just unfamiliar. So if it's not safe to the brain, this is when you get into deep self-sabotage. And this is going to look different for everyone, but it can range like from pulling back slightly to full-on avoidance, procrastination of all of a sudden you feel so much resistance towards doing the things you know you need to do to create your goals. Like maybe you decide you want to start posting every day in your business and you're like, okay, I can do this, and you have like some momentum, and then all of a sudden maybe a reel gets a bit of views, or you get a negative comment or something, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, actually I don't really feel like, oh, maybe I don't need to do that, and you will justify the heck out of it, and it will feel normal, but all of a sudden you stop doing the thing that you said you were going to do. I notice this with myself all the time. Like I will get on a roll, and then all of a sudden I'll like pull back and I'll start watching a lot of Netflix, and I always know that is when I'm self-sabotaging. If I'm getting into the trashy TV, like more, I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Like what am I avoiding?
Sorry, by the way, you said that your show of choice is Temptation Island, and that popped up on Netflix for me, and I was like, oh, Tara. Also, I think it's funny that the temptation to not do what you said you wanted to do is called Temptation Island.
Really so true. That is my
Yeah.
self-sabotage show. I finished it
Yeah.
now, so now I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, and I also wanted to quickly say, like, I really identify, I'm not the kind of person who like fully holds myself back from doing something. So I'll often do the thing, but I really identify with the like not fully showing up with it, like holding back just a little bit, because my honestly, like my fear, especially as a 5'1", and Tara is a 1'3", like there's kind of some overlap here with the one line of like I don't have enough to like really offer value to people.
Mhm.
Um, and so for me, it's always been like, ooh, I can't really make that promise. I can't show up fully, even if I do have the stuff to give them, because like, what if it's not enough? And then as a 5'1", I'm like, what if you burn me at the stake? So that is, yeah,
Mhm.
that's definitely something. It's something I'm for sure working on. And I think too, like Tara, that you would really, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you'd agree that with the safety thing comes that feeling of not really deserving it. So it's not safe for you because you don't deserve it.
100%. This
Hmm.
like undeserving, you're not good enough, so you can't have it kind of thing, like
Hmm.
undeserving. So yes, so the more familiar and like safe you can make your goals, the more you can just keep walking confidently towards them, and the easier they're going to come into your reality. And this is where visualization can be really powerful. If you've done it many, many times in your brain, you're easily going to be able to do it in your real life. Especially in terms of like actions that you want to take. And one of the most powerful things we can do to manifest our dream life is to regulate our nervous system. So to be able to access that calm, centered, grounded state is not only essential for reprogramming the subconscious mind, but when you're in fight, flight, or freeze, like I said, you're unable to move, period. You're pretty much like stuck, frozen. Like your logical mind doesn't work properly. You're putting everything on pause. You're also unable to access that intuition, which is like exactly what Ariana was saying. Like within our design, like we're going to be compelled towards things, but if you are like shut off from your intuition, you can't access those little nudges and like pulls forward. So the more that you're able to practice that calm, regulated state, the more quickly you'll be able to access it, the longer you'll be able to maintain it. And like I read a book recently that was like all about, the neuroscience of manifestation. And what I really got from it is like stress is like the biggest killer of not only like our human bodies, but like of our dreams. Because when you're in stress, like you just are stuck. So it's so important to like find those activities and things every single day, practicing a calm state in your body, doing whether it's breath work or tapping or meditation or hypnosis or going out for walks. Like it is just essential. And I've really learned that since becoming a parent, because all of a sudden my nervous system is just like completely out of whack from a toddler. And it's like, oh my gosh, it is so much work to try to calm myself every day, but I'm getting better at it every day. um Okay, so then there's also the psychological kind of perspectives of manifestation, because our psychology plays a huge role in what we perceive as reality. So we all operate with this confirmation bias, which basically means we're going to seek out and interpret information in ways that confirm our pre-existing beliefs or expectations. So we're basically just wired to prove ourselves right. And this typically does not serve us, which is one of my favorite quotes is like, would you rather be right or would you rather like have what you want and be happy? Because like we're often like, I knew this wasn't going to work. Or like in Temptation Island, it's so interesting because the girls, they're putting their men at this on this island where they're tempted by women. They're like, I knew you were going to let me down. I knew you were going to disappoint me. I knew you couldn't handle the temptation. It's like, okay, like, A, you're dating like a piece of shit, but also like you really manifested that. Like you could not have gone differently, right?
Hmm.
Um, so we're wired to prove ourselves right. So if you believe making money is hard, weight loss is hard, whatever it is like hard or not available to you, you will be right. And you would rather be right than have what you want. Because if you got what you want under like it just wouldn't really happen because your brain will like seek out everything to do with proving yourself right. And again, coming back to that 99.9%, like 99% is going to be trying to prove you right in whatever limiting belief that you're kind of most focused on, like kind of the overarching beliefs. So we can obviously make this work to our advantage by changing our subconscious mind so we can prove ourselves right that money is easy, weight loss is easy. Like that is something I really rewired. Like weight loss, that is the easiest thing in the world. Like everything you want can come to you like magic when you can reprogram that subconscious mind. Um, and I'll also say like I spent a lot of time on body, but I'm still working on things with my business, and it just takes time and consistency to reprogram the subconscious mind. If you strongly believe in a particular outcome, you're going to note basically what you're going to see is evidence supporting it, and you're going to ignore evidence against it, which is a good thing. This is something huge I've really noticed in my own journey. Like something I actively do every single day is I seek out evidence that it's working and that it's happening. So I'm currently working on like growing my audience on social media. And I'm like, oh my God, I got a new follower. It's working. And I'll like literally write it down and I'll celebrate it. Somebody liked my reel. It's working. Oh my God. Somebody added it as favorites on TikTok. Like literally, I will celebrate the tiniest things to show my brain it's working. It's working. Seek evidence that it's working. Because if you're doubting yourself, your brain is going to highlight the obstacles. It's going to feel like you have so much to go up against. You're going to feel like you have to try really hard. It's like exhausting versus you want it to like manifestation should technically feel energizing, exciting, fun. Like that is why we want to reprogram our subconscious because it will make it so much easier and so much more fun instead of pushing against this like exhausting belief that it has to be hard. And when you have confidence that it's working, you're going to notice signs that it's working. This is going to reinforce your confidence and keep you going more powerfully. So by consciously, adopting empowering beliefs and expectations, you can essentially program your brain to filter the world in a way that favors those beliefs. And this creates a really positive feedback loop. You notice progress, you notice opportunities. This bolsters your belief. This makes you more excited to take action. This motivates you. Like it's just this beautiful feedback loop.
Can I say something really quick? So, the first thing I wanted to say about just noticing like proof or evidence already out there, it reminds me of this one YouTuber who eventually had like millions of subscribers, but for at one point she had absolutely zero. It was like for a while, and she got her first subscriber and she made a video of her dancing and it says thank you to my one subscriber and it's her just like whipping it out and like eventually it's focusing on that and celebrating that, and eventually she had millions of followers, which is funny. One day she just kind of gave it up and disappeared. She was like, I'm done, bye, I'm going to grad
Oh,
school. But yeah, and so changing paths there. And there was another thing that you were saying that, oh my God, I completely just, oh, it's this. Um, it's funny because when I'm listening to this, it's like you can see the two sides of manifestation where it's like manifestation can be instantaneous. So it's not the fact that like that's not the way that energetics work. It's that we in our own human, meat sack and through, the fact that this is just the way that our bodies work and how we experience things on the material plane, it's like this is what we need to work on and change, and that itself can take some time, especially if you've been living your this way for your entire life. That's a long time that you're conditioning yourself to believe certain things. And luckily, it does not have to take nearly that long to change it. Everything Tara is talking about, it's like you can see changes with this kind of stuff. Well, I mean, very quickly, right? It depends on how quickly you can let it go. But you can see, changes through these, I'll say, mechanical approaches in like 30 days. And they may not be like the ultimate thing that you want, but like they can be really big shifts if you let them. And your membership on in one of your riffs recently, you were like, things so much can happen in 2 weeks. Like you can
Oh,
create incredible change in your life in 2 weeks. Like, you and Trevor, your love story, you got married in 2 weeks.
yeah. When you are programming your subconscious, you can see like synchronicities. Well, I mean, it's so hard to say because it really depends where you're starting, right? So
Hmm.
I had some pretty even limiting beliefs around love. Like I was like, I'm not worthy of love. Like I kind of like didn't I was engaged to someone else before. It didn't end very well. I carried a lot of guilt around it. So I had to really like shift that, but it actually quite quickly shifted. So, but like scientifically based, within 21 days, you're going to be seeing things changing. You're going to be noticing your thoughts are different. You'll have very consistent external changes within like 45 to 60 days. You can have a complete identity shift within 90 days. So that really excites me because it's like literally within 3 months your whole life could change, and I have seen that happen in my life for sure.
You're inspiring me right now. Did you see my eyes just like widen? I was like, really?
Yeah, like, and all it takes is like consistency. Like what I notice with myself is like I'll be on a goal and then I won't really see it come right away and I'll kind of give up on it and then I'll move on to the next thing and I'm like nothing's working, but really I only gave it 12 days. And I notice this a lot in my clients, like not you particularly, but someone's like nothing's happening. It's like I've literally been working with you for like 10 days. Like relax. Like we just need to give it a little bit of time. So yeah, like people always ask me how long does it take to manifest. You just keep going until it manifests. It takes as long as it takes. Like you just have to be consistent, but it is inevitable. When you reprogram your mind, it is literally inevitable that you can have what you want. But you do need to like stay consistent. The more emotion you bring to it, the faster you're going to reprogram. The more intention you bring towards your days, the faster you're going to reprogram. So it's really just all about like just keep going. So then we have self-fulfilling prophecies, which a belief or expectation about the future influences your behavior in such a way that it actually brings about the expected outcome. So if you're convinced, that a presentation is going to go really bad, you would unconsciously, I've done this before where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just not prepared. And then I'll unconsciously sabotage myself. I'll sleep in the morning and then and then Jaden will be crazy. Like it literally happened to me today. I was like, Ariana, can we do this an hour later? Cause like, I don't feel ready. And I literally thought about it yesterday and I was like, I don't feel ready. And then I kind of felt like panicked and then I slept through my alarm and it was like all these things come together that was like, I'm not ready, but I luckily shifted that. I'm good at noticing myself doing that now, but whatever you are unconsciously expecting will like create that. Again, your brain wants to be right. So cultivating an expectation of achieving your goal through visualization, through powerful beliefs, through all of those things, this will expecting a positive outcome is going to have you tend to take actions and seize chances and use opportunities that align with that expectation. So our beliefs are obviously going to alter our behavior and our interactions in a way that makes the belief come true. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to take the actions that you need to take in order for your goals to come true. Like, especially as a business owner, like you can't just sit around and visualize all day. Like you have to do some sort of action. And I'm going to talk about action, but like I noticed this in myself after I had a baby. I really like lost a lot of self-confidence. I kind of was rediscovering myself. And it's like, I would cut myself before I would have an idea and I'd be like, let's fucking go. Like, this is going to be amazing. And then 600 people would sign up. And then after I had Jaden, I would have an idea. I'm like, oh, but that's dumb. And nobody cares. And I would just cut myself off from like even going there, but it wasn't even conscious. It was like this unconscious, like feeling within me of like, and I didn't even notice it until I really look at it. You don't even realize how much your brain is like, no, I can't do that. Like, that's dumb or whatever. And you literally are stopping yourself before you can even get close to the success that you want. So it's so important to begin to shift those beliefs so you can alter your behavior and just move towards it in a way that feels really good. And then there's also, it's called the Pygmalion effect, where others' high expectations of someone's performance, so like a teacher's belief in students can elevate their outcomes, or the nocebo effect, like if you have negative expectations can cause worse outcomes. And this is why like having a coach or someone that really believes in your success and holds you to that standard can be so powerful, because you will rise, like when it's done correctly, you will rise to the high expectations. Obviously this, like there's a bunch of nuances to that. Like if someone's very hard on you and they like that could go the opposite way. But when it's done the right way, we can also do that like with our relationships, with our partners. Like when Trev was like struggling with all this, I had very low no I had like no SIBO expectations. Like Trev can't handle it, like he's not going to show up for me, I can't rely on him, like very resentful. And I had to like switch that around, and when I did, all of a sudden he started rising to the occasion, and it's like so interesting. I've done it many times. And I also heard a really interesting story recently that I wanted to share about this guy who believed like I'm not smart. I'm not smart. Like I'm not good at school. Whatever. His teachers treated him like that. He barely went to class. He was failing out of every class. And then he took the SATs and he got his score back, and it was like a near perfect score. And at first, everyone's like, "Did you cheat? Like what the hell?" And he's like, "No, like I didn't cheat. Like I couldn't cheat." And he was like surprised as well. But this really changed how he saw himself. He's like, I am smart. Like, started going to class. The teacher started treating him differently. He ended up getting into like turning everything around. He got into an Ivy League school. He became a massive success in like business and life. And then 10 years later, he got a call from the SAT board and they said, oops, like 10 years ago you were one of 13 people whose score was actually wrong and you actually failed, like had a very low score on the SATs. But then who cares? Like he had changed his self-perception and everyone else changed around him. And this is why with manifestation a lot of people talk about identity, myself included, identity and self-concept work. If you see yourself as dumb or whatever, you're not going to go to class, you're not going to try, people are going to see you as that. But if you are like, I'm smart, I'm capable, I can do this, you're going to change other people's expectations of you. And like I see this a lot in clients who believe they're bad with money, and this is something I also had growing up. And they're like, I actually have a client who is literally a financial advisor. Like she's very educated in money, but she believes I'm bad with money. And her parents view her as someone who's not responsible with money. And she has this like locked in identity of like, I don't know how to handle money. I'm like, this is literally what you do for a living. Like you actually counsel people on this all day long. It's not that you're bad with money. You literally know how to be good with money, but you just have this very strong identity around it. So anyway, that's a bit of a side note, but the key
No, that's
takeaway
so nuts. That's a great example too. And I'm going a little off topic here, but what you said, that story about the guy who completely changed his life, for me, I'm someone who can really get stuck in things that happened in the past and like
mm,
what, happened back then and what kind of identity that confirmed for me then and what people thought about me then and what they reflected back to me about myself then. And I'm like, but we're not there anymore. It doesn't matter. And that's one thing that I've gotten from me working with you and just from learning about manifestation overall is like it's so pliable. Like this reality is so pliable and that stuff in the past, it's not here anymore. The only reason that it would affect us moving forward and affect our self-concept and identity and what we manifest is if we allow it to poison our present. And that's a big thing. I mean, I have like gate 44 in my human design chart, and that's a lot about like the past is always going to repeat itself. I'm always going to be stuck when that's just like so not
mm,
true. But there's that. And then I also want to say that there's someone in my life who I dearly love who's really struggling right now with their job. Actually, a projector, pretty similar in design to you. Projector, emotional, with a defined heart center, defined root center, very a lot of energy. And this person is like such a hard worker and but still really carries all of these beliefs that she is going to mess up, that someone's going to come attack her. And this comes from like her background with her family. Like she was held to a very high standard, always felt like she had to prove herself. And I was like, you know what? I love this person so much, and I really am going to hold this vision for them and expect that she is going to rise to the occasion and she is going to be okay. She's going to find ways of healing herself. She is, going to experience everything that she has to experience. And I texted her, I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, even if you don't see that for yourself right now, like I absolutely know that this is possible for you. And we've been friends for a really long time, so I feel comfortable like saying that kind of thing to her. But she was like, thank you so much. And I was kind of like, this won't matter to her, but I think it really did land, right? And I think the more that we can have people around us like coaches, people like Tara, even therapists, whatever, or family members or friends, and ourselves talking to ourselves this way, it really is so powerful. So that was kind of like my correlation to your Trevor story and everything.
Yeah, 100%. It is so important to have people in your life that see you for like your potential, for who you desire to be, for where you're going. Cause like we can get so stuck in patterns of like who we think we are, like exactly what Ariana says. And we just get like, this is who I've always been. And then we can't get out of it unless someone can help us. It can be so powerful. And that's why, you know, people you surround yourself with is so important because you need those people that like see you as this like powerful person, not maybe the people from your life who think, oh, she's always, you know, she's always done that, she's always failing or whatever. But if you, that's why I think like going to like conferences or masterminds and really showing up and having people see you in a new perspective can really change like how you see yourself. So very important about that with that. And then, you know, our beliefs and perceptions about ourselves and the world influence what we attempt in our lives and how we interpret events, and your ability to succeed in specific tasks. So higher self-efficacy, which is like your belief in your ability to succeed, obviously will lead to greater persistence and resilience in the face of challenges. So you know, after 2 years of struggling, like after I had Jaden and just feeling like not good enough in my business, thank God I have a high like belief in like I know I'm going to be successful. Otherwise, I would have been like, fuck this, many times. And that I think that's something that you will see in every successful person is they will keep going despite all obstacles. Like it just doesn't matter. And the people who are quote unquote not as successful yet, just they let obstacles, they let challenges mean something about them, and then they back down. They're like, this isn't meant for me, and they just give up. And like that's the only I think quality in a successful person is like tenacity, perseverance, like just keep going. So if you believe you can create a change in your life, you're more likely to do the work to make that happen. And without high self-efficacy, you would approach challenges as threats to be avoided versus challenges to be mastered. So I have a really silly example of that because like I used to really get so anxious about handling my money and bookkeeping. And if anything went wrong, like in Excel, I'd be like, oh, I can't do this. You know, I'd just give up. Like it would just really affect me. And then I learned how to crochet. And I had a high belief that I could learn how to crochet. And it was very hard at first, but I was like, no, I know I can do this. And then I like mastered it. Now I crochet all the time. And I just like noticed that in like it was literally just I didn't make the challenges or all the mess ups or all the ugly things I made before like mean anything about my ability to eventually get good at this. And like that is so important in your life. Like whatever you are looking to master, you can be good at anything. You can be great at handling money. You can be great at whatever it is in your business or in your life that you desire to be good at. Like it's that is available to you. So having an empowering belief system will obviously create the self-fulfilling prophecy that we want. And then there's obviously the placebo effect, where you know you experience real life improvement in your health purely due to your belief. Like if a person strongly believes a sugar pill is a painkiller, their brain will release endorphins and actually reduce pain. So the expectation of relief triggers a real response in the body. And this is something I use a lot in Dream Body, creating expectations and placebo effect around the food I eat. Like I believe everything makes me skinny. Like I posted a TikTok today, like Oreos and wine make me skinny. Like it's whatever you believe is actually going to create that. So in everyday manifestation, like obviously the more positive belief and expectation we have will alter our outcomes, how we feel, how we perform, even our hormonal or stress responses. And then aligning your subconscious belief system with your goals removes that internal conflict. So if you're trying to move towards something but it's feeling a lot like it's really hard, like let's say you want to get really fit but you're having a very hard time getting to the gym, you're like, oh my God, like this is just such a struggle. That is showing, that would tell me that like your subconscious is not aligned with a healthy and fit person. So you're like, and I have seen this happen in my life because I was a personal trainer. I worked out every single day. I love to work out. It was not even a question that I would work out. Like it wasn't hard for me. I didn't have to try to make myself do it. I just did it. And I loved it. And then after I had Jaden, I stopped working out, and then it became very hard, and I had so much resistance to it. And I was like, you know, making the calendars, like, okay, like I can do it like 3 times a week or whatever. But when I started changing my subconscious mind, now every day I've just been like, I just really want to work out. I just want to. So that is how you either are moving with the wind pushing you backwards and it feels very hard. When you rewire your subconscious mind, it's like the wind is propelling you forward. It just becomes easy. There's no like conflict within you that you have to push against or try or force yourself to move through. And this is why it is so powerful. So kind of to sum it up is you set your intention, you address and replace the limiting beliefs that align with the ones that you want. You embed your subconscious mind with these new positive beliefs, along with like seeking evidence of it working. And then you take action. You do the things you know to do. That's the thing is when you shift your subconscious mind, the actions will become very obvious. You don't have to try to figure it out. It's not going to feel hard. It's a very natural next step. And people that tend to view action as like a really hard thing is because they're trying to take action as the first step instead of the last step. And they're working against their 99.9% subconscious mind. And it's going to feel very fucking hard. And it's not, you're going to be pushing up against it and you're not going to get anywhere and you're going to self sabotage. And it's just going to be exhausting. So take it from me, reprogram your subconscious mind first, and then you will naturally be in tune with your intuition. You're going to be led to exactly what you need to do. The action steps are just going to come easily and you're going to feel compelled to do them. Like when I really wanted to manifest $15,000, I'll give an example, to go on this retreat in Bali. I was a personal trainer at the time and I had online workout videos. And the only path that I could see was like, I have to do my online workout videos. But I was like, I didn't even want to do that anymore. I was into manifesting. I wanted to go on this manifestation retreat. And I was like, I just have to make this happen. I worked so hard and nothing happened. The money did not come. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to align with, allowing the money to flow in easily, started to do some reprogramming. And then I had this idea plop into my head. Never could have seen this before when I was forcing it with the workout videos, to offer a beginner level manifestation course online. And that literally took off and changed my entire life, changed my career, which is now what I do full time, because I stopped taking that action. I focused on changing my mind, and then the ideas came and it felt so fun. It was literally the most fun thing of my entire life. Like, so grateful for that course. And that is my talk.
Wait, so I want to clarify something in that story. That was the Manifestation Babe retreat that you went on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Didn't you have like a conversation with someone where you mentioned this and they were like, "Oh, I would take that as a class or I would like do that or something?" No?
Like kind of before that, someone had reached out to me to offer a vision board workshop. Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh, they asked you to offer it or they had offered it to
Yeah.
you? Yeah, okay,
They
that's the invitation. I was like, please tell me that's what happened because you're in the Manifest with Your Design course. And I was like, this is an example of being invited as a projector. And I was like, shit, was that not one of them?
And
Um,
actually, now that you say it, I feel like people were asking me about manifestation because I was super into it at the time. So
yeah.
it wasn't like offer. I don't think anyone said offer our course. Somebody did tell me this was a really good example of an invitation where like, could you offer a vision board course? And this is before I was like really out with my spirituality. And I was like, sure. And it
Mhm.
literally sold out to 40 people in like 2 minutes. Like it was the
Yeah,
easiest I've ever
that's
done.
it. Oh, that is so cool. I absolutely love that. And I wanted to say like one last thing in regards to this. All of this too, like you're saying work on your subconscious first and the action is kind of the last step. That's so in line with inspired action. This whole idea that
Mhm.
it's about getting into the feeling and the alignment first, and then that's when the correct action comes to you. It's the stuff that Abraham Hicks talks about. It's the stuff that anybody, Neville Goddard, he talks a little bit more about like it's not so much you taking the action, it's the bridge of incidences being created on their own. But I mean, part of that could be you just going off and doing this thing because it felt good and you're like, oh, that was my next step on
Mhm.
the bridge of incidents that led me to my manifestation becoming true. So there's that. And then the other thing I want to say too is everything we're talking about, like, this is why I teach human design in the way that I do, because yes, knowing your design is really awesome. But if you have a belief about your design or you're listening to people who talk about human design in a really limiting way, okay, so you're quote unquote getting the system right, according to what Ross said or what this expert said. You're quote unquote doing it right, but are you doing it in a way that works for you? Like, I know some really militant people about human design, and I'm like, so this is your business. Are you making any money doing this? Like, are you like, how does it feel limiting people? You know?
Ah.
And some of them do because they believe it's going to work, right? And then, um, for some people who like are doing this and like really just like want to be quote unquote right about it, I'm like, yeah, but are you happy? Are you like getting what you want out of this? And so if you're listening to any of this stuff, and making that your truth, you're affirming something you don't really want to yourself. And so for me, I'm always coming at this from a point of empowerment. Jenna Zoe, who teaches human design, said if it's not empowering, it's not spirituality, which I know not, she has a defined mind center. So of course she's like, this is what I believe. I'm certain about this. Not everyone would agree with that necessarily. They might even say that comes from ego, but I believe it to be true. And yeah, anyway, that was my last note. But Tara, this was so amazing. Thank you so much. I can't wait for people to listen to this.
Yay. Yeah, that was so fun. And I just want to encourage anyone listening, like, whatever it is that you desire, even if it's felt very hard for your entire life, or it hasn't seemed like it's possible for you, or even if you've been working at it for a long time, you haven't seen the results, like, it's just a matter of like pruning and rewiring the brain so you can notice the new opportunities, so you can move towards it with more ease, so you can feel safe to have it. Like, there's so many aspects of it, but it's available to you, like, is the key thing. Like, if there is a desire on your heart, I say this to Ariana all the time, like, it is meant for you. Like, it is not something you just are meant to want for your entire life and like desperately like feel like you can't have it. Like, it's literally calling you forward, and there's a part of you that knows like it is so available to you. And that's why we all have such different dreams and desires and things that we want for our lives. And wait, like, it's because it's what we're meant to accomplish in this lifetime. Like, I really believe we're here to have those things. So it's just a matter of letting yourself have it by making sure your brain and body are aligned with like allowing it to be easy instead of pushing up against all that resistance.
Yeah. And now that you've listened to this podcast episode, you have lots of ideas for how to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
And Tara also has fantastic content on all of this kind of stuff in her membership as well. So if you want to check that out, especially if you want to work on like dream body or something like that, that's not all that Tara does, not by a long shot. But yeah, and then you can hear Tara on her podcast. She gives so much great information there. I love listening to it. And yeah, so that's it from us today. Tara, thanks again. You rock. Everyone listening, you rock. And I will talk to you next time.